I want to talk today about leadership. Now, before you say to yourself, oh no, this has to do with business. It doesn't have to do with business. Well, it does, but it has to do with so much more as well. Because if you're a parent, for example, your spouse, your partner may be looking to you for leadership. Certainly your children will be looking to you for leadership. If you go out and play football on a Saturday morning, your teammates may be looking to you for leadership. But leaving all that aside, aren't you supposed to lead your own life? When we think of leadership, we think about people who inspire, people who motivate. I recently had a conversation with a business leader who wanted to inspire his people, who wanted to truly turn his people on. But having asked him a simple question, he realized what was missing. He didn't jump out of bed, he didn't leap out of bed in the morning as if he meant it. He wasn't motivated or inspired himself, or at least not sufficiently. He was in charge of a relatively successful organisation, but relatively successful in comparison to what? In comparison to all the other organisations that, as we know from a psychological perspective, are doing no more than going through the motions, some of them thinking that they're great. You need to be in a position where you leap out of bed in the morning and say to yourself, yeah, I got out of bed for a purpose this morning. I want to do something today that perhaps I've never done any other day, but I want to do something and I want to bloody mean it. Because until you really mean what you're doing, until you are inspired yourself, how in God's name can you expect to inspire or motivate anybody else? In fact, until you are motivated and inspired yourself, you're a danger to other people. We all know people, my wife calls them the energy vampires. We all know people that we spend half an hour with and we're only fit to go to bed afterwards. Now, there are degrees of energy vampires. There are people who only suck a little bit of blood and people who are addicted to it. But the point I'm making is that unless you're motivated, unless you're inspired yourself, you're actually going around dragging people who are trying to inspire themselves, who are trying to motivate themselves. You're dragging people down to the lowest common denominator. And the lowest common denominator of the herd is not pretty. And if you haven't taken the trouble to know what motivates and inspires you, if you haven't taken the trouble to get your head around what you want to achieve, then you need to stop in your tracks and ask yourself, will I bother getting out of bed tomorrow? I would appeal to you. If you're not motivated and inspired, don't get out of bed tomorrow. Just stay in bed and try to figure things out, or shuffle around the house until you figure things out. Get out of the way of the people who want to be motivated, who want to be inspired, who want to lead their own lives. Now, if you're leading your own life, what kind of leader can you be for others? You can be a motivational and an inspirational leader. In fact, you can be a leader, full stop. Because anything other than a motivated and inspired leader is a manager, is somebody who's going through the motions. Leadership's more than that. And leadership starts with leading your own life.